Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset podcast. My name is Concert Brooks. I know this episode we're going to talk about the 6 month employment update because I'm ready to 6 months, and I guess my reaction to it is that I become the full employee. I get all the base employee benefits, and yeah, well, yeah, the 90-day probational period. By the 6 months, you're basically reaping the rewards of that 90-day probation period. And what happens now is that I realize is you become more stable in the six at the 6 month period. In the sense that what I realize is that the when I just came, my position was certain. So if you realize we have been moving up a lot. Now recently in the 6 month, our position, well, my position really was pretty stable in the sense that I never have to really worry as much as again about, oh, I'm gonna find a seat and stuff like that. We're moving over here. No, because what happens that we kind of unlock the employee status and like, yeah, okay, yes, you know. So all of that, I guess, all of that previous stuff is just basically just okay. Yes, you're employee, so it's like you get that benefit. What else? What happened in this 6 months is that we unlock. So we unlock the health card. So I did. We got the health card and stuff like that. But we also unlock sick days, vacation, and stuff like that. And those are important stuff. And I'm gonna do a future episode about it. And because why I say this important because you know I record this episode, I feel sick in the sense that I said doing this job you're working different shifts. So sometimes you're doing day shift and sometimes you're doing night shift, and that really takes a toll on you. That really takes a toll on you, and sometimes and then the weather changes as well and stuff like that. Someday you're gonna get sick, and then and then you have days now where being sick is inevitable. Can't avoid being sick. Um, and then you're gonna need to be off. And then when you're off, when you're off involuntarily, in the sense that you being sick is not really in your control. It's not something that you say, okay, get up and say, oh, I want to be sick and stuff like that. That's out of your control. You, you're losing compensation for something that is natural to humans. So be compensated for something that is naturally human makes sense. And what I mean is that I think on sick days you basically you're supposed to get the pay for the day or something like that. I'm not sure. So that statement could be wrong. All right, but I said, but these are important stuff. You need to be able to lay off your employees when not you won't lay off. Like leave your give your employee time to actually they're sick. Just give them time to. And for example, this pandemic as well teach you that as you don't want you don't want people catching the virus and then carrying it to the whole employment. That's terrible. That that's our whole business gone. What happens is that if it was a very serious virus, the whole business will go down in like months because everyone would get it and everyone would die. Yeah, so sick days are really important and vacation. I I you know vacation. When when I said okay, we are not vacation. I never I just saw it and be like, oh yeah, I just unlock it and be like, oh. But then as I sit down and realized and reflected, I you know I didn't realize what I just unlocked, in the sense that what happened is that, so I said we unlock vacation, and we're like, okay, yeah, so that means I can just basically schedule in advance that, okay, I'm going to take some time off to work to enjoy myself. But I was talking about what the hell I'm gonna do, so that was my thinking. But then it just came to me. I'm getting income. I'm getting income, and being employed give you a certain stability and more, give you a more status, in the sense that uh you are employed to someone, and that give you status in the sense that they can say, okay, you will get an income, so you can actually do larger travels than what you usually do. And then that only, so what came to me was like, oh my god, one of my goals that I thought was impossible now becomes a reality again, which is I can basically go to different countries, and it's within my budget, in the sense that if I was going to do it without the job, I would have to be thinking of other ways and stuff like that. But no, this time I have a stable job. I just save up my income, schedule in advance that, okay, this day I'm going to this country, and be like, okay, I just set up everything so that boom, I get to do it, bro. That when I realized, and I think about it, I thought I really know the first place I want to travel to. And it's like, bro, yeah. So it's like it's one of those stuff where be like, oh my god, it just really kind of excite me again for the work, in a sense that I still it's still frustrating working there, as the job is really draining. But that benefit that you get, bro, that vacation stuff is really, really, really something. And yeah, man. So yeah, but I guess I guess with the 6 month, I guess what I could say is this: we'll set up this podcast. This is a long time I've been employed, in the sense that the podcast was me employing myself, but now being employed at a company. 6 months is my record now. Yeah, but from I reached the 3 months, I thought I actually made my record, but no, I doubled that record. So let's see if we're gonna make it to a year, you know. So that being said, mm, what can I say? I guess all I can say is that the stuff that you're gonna hear when you're coming out to listen to YouTube and all those stuff, where we're like, save 6 months income and stuff like that. Because being here for 6 months, I kind of understand what it means, because getting a new job, realize that it takes 6 months to kind of really get settled in to the business, and how from start to now, you were getting paid for you're getting paid as you progress. You did not when you just got a job, you did not unlock your employee status, but you over time unlock phases of it, and they were paying you, because hey, you can't just be paying co- paying free stuff, like you can't be trading people for free and stuff like that. They come there to work, and everybody have to pay them. So what happened was that it took me 6 months to actually um reach that stable place in the company, a relatively stable place in the company. And what happened is that, if, for example, I did not, if there's a lot of people that started with me that did not make it to the 6 month, and what happened is that, if you most of those people, those income would be important for them to save. And what else I should say again, the 6 month is where things are starting to click. Things are starting to click. Like, as I said, you over time you do something, you bound to get better. So 6 months, things are starting to click, and then something what happens is that you consistently getting the bonuses. So by this period, your salary increases regardless. Just by you being there for that 6 months, your salary just passively increases just by you reaching this far, because all the stuff that they're teaching you has to translate to something, or else you'll not be making it to the 6 months, and then boom. So your income passively increases when you're there for that month, and it should go up as you stay there longer, because what happens is that you're about to get better, and then more things gonna come. And what else? What else was that? The company gave us. What happened was, I also realized, was companies celebrating holidays. Like, we got Easter, and the company gave us Easter bun and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, those stuff are really like, I stuff that I was like, oh my god, that's corny. But it was, started from where I've started from. It really made my Easter better than it would be because I would not have buy that this Easter. So having the company that give you that because they have it in their budget, be like, oh my gosh, these are stuff like you can actually do your employee and be like, oh my gosh, that's really grateful for them, because most of these employees could be in a situation like me where are worse, where they started from the bottom and this is their last hope, and that bun and cheese can really set it's really special. So it's like, yeah. So it's like these are stuff you're learning as you stay there in a company and company for a while. If it's even if it's not the best company, you're learning these stuff and be like, wow, I that really makes sense. So that really makes sense. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and look forward for the next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
From bloopers. Since I reached this far into the work, I guess when this is released, I will be around about my 7th month at this company. If I'm not um fired as yet, as I said that. But about passing so many stages, you know, you realize that it wasn't as easy. It wasn't as a smooth road. And what happened was that you'd see some, and there was a lot of rocky, because what happened, rocky road. Because what happened is that I'm adjusting to the 9 to 5 lifestyle, and it was a different lifestyle. And to as the 9 to 5 lifestyle is an unhealthy lifestyle, so you have to actively adjust to the lifestyle while actively putting the effort so that you maintain a healthy way, because if you just succumb to the full 9 to 5 lifestyle, you'll be very unhealthy. So